Alright, so welcome back. So today what we're going to work on is we're going to keep advancing our app. So let's do a quick recap. So let me go ahead and run this. Alright, so it's available at 0.0.0.0 port 1234. Now, if I didn't log in, let's just say I want to encrypt this YouTube video. Great, now I can visit at this link. Or if I logged in, which I don't have navbar, but we will do that when we refactor code. So I will log in using the account that just created in last video. And then if we go back to homepage again, put the URL in and new media. Now you can see I can change it. So let's just say my medium article 1, just in case I use this. And now you can see I want to show this, so make sure it works. Now it's going to redirect me to the Medium article I wrote. Alright, well that was great and all, but what about storing the URL? I mean, we stored it in database, but we didn't actually render it here. So today is where we're going to do welcome back. So today's Flask tutorial number 11. We're keep going to advance in our bit.ly clone. Now first is we're going to, let me log out first. So today what we're going to do is we're going to store URL in local storage for the user that is not registered. Okay. So we'll go over, let me do the quick intro. So now I have basic website working, but what if we want to store the URL? So users don't have to create a URL every single time. So in this video, we're going to implement a function where we can store the URL into user's local storage from the user who didn't log in, and then display in the home page. This video shouldn't be that long, and this will be JavaScript focused. So less Flask, less Python, but more JavaScript. It's probably like the few only JavaScript we're going to do. Okay, so recall that what's gonna happen is the script going to take in here. Actually, before I even talk about that, let's go over pseudocode. We really only have three parts. So we're gonna first is after the URL generated and the user didn't log in, like the condition. Then we're gonna add the URL to the local storage. Then we're gonna display all the URL. Alright, but before we begin, let's talk about local storage first. So what is local storage? First, as a suggestion to check on the MDN documentation, or watch my video. I do have a video on local storage, so I will link that down to both documentation and my video down to the description below. But I will just explain briefly. So we will use these two functions. So let me just create a script. So what are going to happen is we're gonna use that. So we're gonna use local storage dot set item. This is a command we're gonna use when we try to cite an item into our database. So like append value to the local storage. Or we can also use to get item using local storage dot get item. Alright. These are the two functions we're going to use. Just make sure you have that ideas, then you're good to go. So now, next, let's go ahead and add the URL to the local storage. So the reason I'm on the success.html because that's when the actual are going to display. So to make this simple, since JavaScript, sometimes JavaScript cannot accept Jinja, can't accept Jinja's response. So we will just get the document, just get the value from the text above. So notice that we have great. Now I can visit at this. Well, actually, do we need to do this? Let me see. Actually, I don't know. Can we do this, because if we can do this, and we don't have to do that complicated stuff. Yeah, it does work. Okay, you know what? Plan changed. Plan B. So we're just gonna use that. So first is we don't need to do this anymore. Then I didn't know this actually can work. Okay, so first what we need to store is we need to store the old URL, which we're gonna pass as old here. So just in case we forgot, in our app.py success. And yeah, so actually, and before that, I also need to do one more thing. Is that you're gonna need to use an if. So I will say if session user ID equals none. That means that means the user didn't log in. Then we'll go ahead and execute this. So this would happen. /register /login /logout /url /update. Oh yeah, it's in index. Okay. So okay, it's a mess because I self-wrap it. By the way, the final code we will use a Google Sprite APF check, and then we're gonna briefly talk about testing. Oh, we're also gonna talk about testing also. So this is kind of like a fully fledged mini micro web application. So in here, what I would say is I will go ahead and say original URL. Wait. Yeah, here. So I'm going to say old equals request.form.get. Okay, good. So now let me go to success. Now we have this. So this is the old URL we're going to use. Now what we're going to say is we're going to get the new URL, which is the base URL and the autocode. So this is the new URL that we're going to use. And then we're going to say is we're going to go ahead now use local storage. So we can say local storage dot set items. Set item, excuse me. So now what we can say is let's just use URLs. So this is a key. So you can imagine as local storage is a database. Each database have a table, and each table doesn't have it's not like that, but actually you can imagine local storage as a table. Each key as a column, and value is like a row. Value in a row. So in here we're just gonna say new URL. That's it. So that's really about it for this. And now let's go ahead and refresh this. So let's go ahead and put it here. Applications, session storage, local storage. Did it not work? Did it work or not? It's supposed to work. Okay, session. I don't want to store everything. I just want to store users like when they didn't log in. So let me just go ahead and print this out. Either way should work. Let me just read the sec. URL. User key error. Okay, just double check helper. Let's see about this. What about this? I don't know why this keep happening. This doesn't work anymore. As always, we spend a lot of time just to debug, even though I have a cheat sheet. What this doesn't get? Okay, so probably because, yeah, this. What this happened is supposed to work. Session user ID equals none, and if so it doesn't think user ID is none. Okay, let's try it's not none. I don't know what that happens. Whoops. Okay, you know what? We're not gonna. I don't know why this happened at all. Okay, just gonna leave it like this. So it's going to store in the local storage every single time. I mean, okay, let me go to application. I'm going to delete this. Alright, let's go refresh. The value. Great, now it works. Okay, so we don't want only store this. So we also want to store the original URL just for displaying purpose. So use a template language that JavaScript support. It's like f-string in Python. See, not session. Let's see. Let's go delete this value. Let's go ahead, paste it here, submit. Great. Okay, now it works. It is not. I didn't log in. Because like if I logged in, and then if I try to do that again, this shouldn't get executed. So I'm just gonna choose a different. Yeah, didn't get executed. Good. Alright, since this is for people who didn't log in, I'm gonna log out. The import element should have autocomplete attribute. Suggested current password. No, I don't prefer that. Okay, so URL will say, now we have new URL. So now essentially what we want to do, since this is like globally available, so now what we need to do is in here we need to display it. So let's say not session bracket user ID. Then we will say not session bracket user ID. Fix this and if. Let me look. What should I do? Okay, so now what we need to do is just to make sure we get the information. Oh, whoops, shouldn't right here. Script console.log go storage.get item URLs. Alright, so it does work. Now what we need to do is we will go ahead and display this on the home page, which then we need to go create a URL order list. Let's call this ID also a URL. So URLs created. So refresh the page. Okay, pretty good. Let me just add a line break there. Alright. Looks good. So now what we need to do is we'll separate by comma. Here equals this. Alright, so now what we'll do is we go to application, and now we'll go ahead and delete this. Submit. Good, that's one. I'm just gonna do a lot 3 URLs. Alright. Whoops. Why did I put it there? Sorry about that. Should be put right there so we can split the string eventually. Submit. Back. Okay. Submit. Okay, yeah, so set item. We'll go ahead and get the item first. So if go ahead and say if local storage. So this overwritten the first thing. So if local storage.get item URLs equals no. This is a value returned when there's no value in it. Now what we'll say is we can say this Otherwise, what we'll say is we're going to say dot let's just say yeah, let's just do a one-liner here and say local storage dot get item URLs plus this. Okay. And now it should work, so it shouldn't overwrite the whole thing again. Can keep that. Yep, now it does work. Good. So now what we'll do is we will go ahead and get all the URLs. Oops. We're not dealing with this today. So we go to index.html, and then we saw this working. Great. So now what we need to do is we'll go ahead and loop through this. Let's just say var URLs, and then we'll say for let I equals 0. Note that if you have never learned JavaScript before, this may be a little bit cryptic syntax, because we really need to know that what we're doing with Python is get so much stuff for us. This is how for loop usually is written in most language, but not in Python. URLs. Actually, we miss a step. So first is we need to split. URLs equals URLs dot split based on the comma, and then URLs dot length. This should give us array or list, and then what we can say is this should give us a string like HTTP 0.0.0.0.01234 URL. You can see after we split this, it's going to go ahead and give us like HTTP : blah 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 N0L hyphen HTTP : /devsme block. By the way, if you want to read my blog, you can go to devsmeblog.blogspot.com. Blah blah blah. So that's what it's going to give us in each position. So we're going to loop through that array or list, and then what we will say is okay. So this gives us the URL in that position, and now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and actually start to append. So append is a little bit complicated. So we're going to create some elements. But first is we need to do a split again. Split based on hyphen. And then we'll say this is old URL. And then we will say paste. This is new URL. And since this will scale another array, we need to get these specific elements. 0 is old, 1 is new. And then what we need to do now is actually start appending to the unordered list. I know unordered list didn't look that nice, but I will try to see if you guys have some nice suggestion of how do you want to display data. Feel free to send me. I will consider to use it in my refactor. We'll spend like 1 or 2 video before we deploy to just refactor of our code. Okay, so now we're gonna create a text node first. So actually we're gonna create create element. This is not creating, it's not a text node, just a node that's point to a HTML element class in some sort. So we'll call this our. And then in here we're gonna say we're gonna create a text node. So what do we want to display on this? So document.create text node, and then here we're gonna say using this notation. So this is under your escape button in US keyboard. I don't even know how to say it on symbol, but then we can use the $sign, and then here we're gonna say old URL hyphen new URL. So sometimes you can imagine that we don't really need to do this step if we format it correctly, because we're just doing extra step. But this can help us when we want to do like more complicated stuff, so like not just display using that. And then now we're gonna say is we're gonna append this text node into the append this text node to the node, which is append this text node to the line item, and then we can say document. Now I'm gonna do that have ID, yeah. So now I'm gonna go ahead and choose the URLs. So this get the elements of URL. So this basically get this HTML elements, and then I'm gonna say dot append child, and then we're gonna say no. So this basically add this new outline we created to the old unordered list, as far as I believe. And then we'll go ahead and say if URLs equals no, which means it doesn't have element exists, we practically don't need to do anything. We'll do this when it's not no. So if it's no, then we'll not do anything. Note that JavaScript don't really have a style syntax, so like you don't necessarily have to indent. And note that they used, as you can see, they use brackets, so C style syntax instead of the Python syntax. Now if you refresh, well, we should see it. No errors in console. Oh, it's no, it's not. Close. I guess this is fine. All right. We have one that is undefined. I wonder what's that. Let's go ahead and say application. We're just gonna bring it up here. Okay, it's the last comma. I guess -1 should solve this issue. Whoops. Yep, because we have the last comma there, so we're not gonna add anything to that comma. And now you can see, if we go and create a new element, so like we're gonna create a new bootstrap, note that we cannot change this and then log in, and now you can see this automatically stored in our local storage. So you don't need to store this in database and return it. This is just some cool front-end stuff you can do, some storage. And this is it. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to this video, and subscribe to my channel as well, please. It's made just like a button to you, but it's a huge to me and this channel. And then thanks to all people who subscribe to me. Thanks to all my 7 subscribers. And yeah, so thanks for watching. See you next time. We'll do, so let me just do a quick cliffhanger in some sort. So in next video, we're going to learn how to store user's data if it's logged in, if the user is logged in. Alright, so thanks for watching.